Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your boy, Adam. Let's go! So, day two in the draft is already in the books, and the Giants came away with three players. Three players they hope to help their team out. Now, before I get into some of those players, these are some. This is day two. There were some great players left on the board that I thought the Giants could have taken to accelerate getting big and getting better. And I think the first day they made picks, they made home runs, right? They took the obvious choices. Well, in the second round, they didn't take the obvious choices. I know somebody so eloquently put it to me last night in the chat. Well, you don't know if he's high on their board, or you don't know if they're high on their board. Well, I don't know, but I can only give you the information that I know and that I've studied. And these three guys, from what I learned and studied throughout many of the books I've read, and draft guides that are out there, these guys were picked a little above where they were supposed to be drafted. Again, if you love a guy, you take a guy, but I just think for me there were better choices. But let's get into it. Wendell Robinson, wide receiver out of Kentucky. Not my first choice in the second round when there's guys like Michi from Alabama, George Pickens from Georgia. I mean, that guy had a bad knee, but he's silky smooth. You even had Sky Moore, who, again, I mentioned in Premium Takes coming up at you today, Saturday, 6 p.m. I mentioned in Premium Takes that the Giants would take a receiver in the second round. And somebody asked me, well, I think it was Zion, the co-host of Premium Takes, and goes, Adam, why would they take a receiver there? What is wrong with you? And I said, there's depth to be had. Guys are injured. There's not many guys on the contract. You got to look past 2023, right? Well, guess what? They took a receiver. And, maybe not the guy that we all wanted, but a guy that they believe will fit their system. Now, I like Sky Moore. If you're going to take a receiver, I like George Pickens. I like Alex Pierce. All guys that went within the vicinity of this guy. And not mentioned they traded down, which I thought they were going to do, but I thought they would have gotten a little bit more in return. They got a fourth-round pick and an extra third-round pick, which is great because now they have three third-round picks, so I think they're going to pick all three. They have three fourth-round picks. Not three third-round picks. Three fourth-round picks. I was hoping they would get another third, when they went down and get another third-round pick, and really enhance the players. Remember, the Giants are trying to get players. They said that they had 9 draft picks. Now they're on the verge of having 11. So I think let's get into Wendell Robinson. Wendell Robinson, he reminds me of Isaiah McKenzie of the Buffalo Bills. I think that's what his best player comp is. He's got some good yardage. He played in the SEC. He did well for Kentucky. Can't push him on that. But to me, he just wasn't a guy for me that I'm saying, oh yeah, that guy's going to be good. But we'll see what happens. He's a gadget player. He's 5'7", 177 pounds, 180 pounds. Let's give him 180. They say that he's strong and he's built and he's yoked. I'm like, that's good for college kids. Now you got guys playing the NFL. It's a different game. Small, gadgety guys don't always succeed. And I know people are going to tell me, Tyreek Hill is an anomaly. Tyreek Hill's an anomaly. Those guys don't always come around. Well, yeah, Jalen Waddle, excuse me. Well, Jalen Waddle was picked in the top 10 of a draft. So if you're telling me this guy's going to be Jalen Waddle, then he needs to be, then the entire NFL missed the boat on this. I'm just saying, that's how I think he's going to fit in the Giants offense. Joe Shane and Brian Daboll like the word generators a lot, which is guys who can create. Kind of like if you're thinking of basketball, when you have a point guard that can create his own shot or create off the dribble, think of that with these players. They're going to create offense, meaning, hey, we're going to throw you a slip screen, bubble screen, make a guy miss and go to the house. Now, for me, you already have that guy on the field, and Kadarius Toney. So and you have a similar skill set with Sterling Shepard. Now I know Sterling Shepard's not on his way back yet. Kadarius Toney, there are issues going on with him. Now for me, it's just I know they want to bring in their guys, but it tells me more about the Giants and where they're going with their receiving core and this guy that they picked. I do believe, in my heart of hearts, they slightly reached. That's what I believe. We can go over the semantics later, but Wendell Robinson, let's hope he plays. Right now, he's a second round pick, so that means if I'm Darius Slayton, your butt's on the bench because let's be real, he's a fifth round pick, and it usually goes status when it comes to these guys, right? Status. So if you're a second round pick, you're already more valuable than the fifth round pick that came in, plus from another regime. So if anybody, I would look at the back end of the roster. Plus, I also thought they got a guy from the 49ers. Forget what his name is. They just recently acquired him. And he did some of the same skill sets. Bubble screens, slip screens, return kicks. I mean, this is all the guy that Wendell Robinson does. I mean, they only have that guy for a year, and they have Wendell Robinson when they sign him for 4. So we'll see. I mean, small guys need a lot of help. You're going to have to put him in motion. You're going to have to do a lot of jet sweeps and all that stuff, but you can't. I don't know if that's a sustainability factor. Now, he can run some routes. He's a little dynamic on that route, but he's not fully polished on the route tree. So that's another thing that we want. Some people say, again, he's Cole Beasley. I think he's Isaiah McKenzie. You're going to see him do jet sweeps, come out of the backfield. I wonder what this means for Tony going forward. But we'll find out. Brian Dable is the coach, and him and Kafka got a plan. We'll see where it goes. Next pick, Joshua Eduzudo. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Joshua, the guard from North Carolina. Solid pick. Again, not a guy that I would have chosen when you had Dylan Parham on the board, who I thought was a better player, better prospect. Hey, I'm not making the picks. I don't get paid to do that. But this guy, Joshua from UNC, he's going to be good. Solid player. Really solid run blocker. Basically solid everything. Kept Sam Howell upright. And I think he'll compete. Again, the third round pick is a high value pick. These are guys who want to contribute on your team, be eventual starters, and role players that contribute immediately. So if you think that that's what's going to happen, then maybe him and Shane Lemieux are going to battle it out. The Giants are having a lot of competition in a lot of rooms right now. You're going to see who rises to the top. And they say he's a left guard, Shane Lemieux. And they said Shane Lemieux's cleared. Let's go. There's going to be a battle. And these are the type of things that are going to make you better, right? Because maybe that kid from UNC doesn't start right away. But maybe Galowinski, leaves and you move Shane Lemieux over to the right side and then you put this guy in, Who knows? Who knows? It's too early to tell. We won't know till September 15th when they kick off the season. Or whenever the season's kicked off, we'll know, right? Whenever that comes down the pike, we'll know because you'll know the injuries, you'll know who's on the roster. Right now there's 90 guys, right? So veterans who may be cut have some time, right? So we'll see. I like this guy. Solid pick. Not my choice, but I'm not going to go ape crap on him. Of all the picks, I liked him the best. And like I said, you can find value in the third round in the draft. Like I was telling people. They were like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. No, they got their guard in the third round, which we discussed months ago, ad nauseum, that they got guys. The second round pick was the flyer pick. That was the pick that I would have possibly chosen a safety. Again, chosen McBride. There's a lot of guys that went in the second round that I thought would have made this team better and is in our need. Now, again, the offensive line's addressed. You got 2 big guys on the offensive line. In this regime, okay, mind you, Dave Gettleman, love him or hate him, chose 3 guys in 2020. Thomas, Pert, and Lemieux. 2 of those guys are still on the line. One's starting. The other 2 are fighting for roster spots. We'll see. Again, we'll see. This is what we're talking about. You never know what's going to happen when the guy gets to camp, how he looks at, what he's going to do. Last but not least, the quarterback from LSU, Cordell Flott. Not going to lie, not my first choice of cornerbacks. Not my first choice of cornerbacks right now, but he played for LSU, pretty much was a powerhouse. They had some trouble last year, but he played on the other side of Derek Stingley, so I'm sure he got a lot of burn. He is aggressive. He does blitz. He's a bit undersized for the size that he is. The last measurements I saw was he was 6 foot 177. He's going to need to add some bulk to that. They said he's going to play inside and outside. Now, again, with this pick and the Wendell Robinson pick, it's interesting because, and you can even say the lineman pick, but we already knew that they need offensive linemen. What doesn't make sense to me is you have James Bradbury, you have Adoree Jackson, you have Andre Robinson, you have Darnay Holmes. Both Darnay Holmes and Andre Robinson are draft picks, not to mention Rodarius Williamson, Jarren Williams that you got last year, okay? You already got 6 guys on the roster. With this guy now, is 7 guys on the roster. Now, I know you can't have too many quarterbacks. Plus, a guy like Julian Love, who I think maybe Williams, they said Jarren Williams may be moving to safety. So we'll see if that's the case. But to me, again, you had some other guys on the board, some other guys that would have chosen. This guy may have been able to be had in today in this round. So to me, I don't like to reach for players. You can't predict the future, so you can't predict that they're going to be sitting here in round 4. I just know a lot of people across the boards and magazines and guides had him rated in the later part of the draft, 4th, 5th, 6th round picks for basically all the guys except for the lineman. The lineman was picked at the appropriate position, 3rd round, right? So again, for me, it's not about necessarily the positions that were picked, because I like the positions. It's the players that were picked at those positions that I don't believe, and we'll find out. If I'm wrong, great. If I'm wrong, great. But, what I don't want to see is a guy that we had a chance to get, like a McBride or, an Andre Booth or Dylan Parham, go out and have good careers, and the guys that we come in can't even make the 53 or barely making the roster, right? So I just feel like after the beautiful home run draft in the 1st round, in the 2nd and 3rd, I think they went for guys who are solid players with some upside, but I think there were better players overall that had a better upside coming out. Again, I don't make these picks, but so that's Cordell Flout. Again, to close out with him again, I think he has the option to play nickel, to play inside, to play outside. Again, you have guys like that who you drafted, who I think need some time to develop. Does this mean Andre Robinson's strictly outside? Does that mean you keep Bradbury? If you keep Bradbury, who are you moving? Because Robinson, they said, can play safety. So if you want to move him to play free safety or safety, fine. I'm down with that. Because right now they have 2 safeties and they have nobody. Somebody mentioned that this kid play safety. I'm not putting this kid at safety, even though he blitzes. I think that's one of the main reasons he was chosen, because he can blitz. And Wake Martindale, we know, is bringing the heat this year. So he wants a guy that can get there. Again, we'll see what happens. You rely a lot on rookies. You're going to get a lot of rookie mistakes, growing pains. You never know when those rookie mistakes are going to show up. Could be week 1, could be week 2, could be week 17 when you're in the middle of a game. I've seen it all year round. So let's hope these teams get coached up. I like this coaching staff. Again, I've said that before. Hasn't warranted anything. We'll see when we get them in-house. Today, the Giants have 2 4th-round picks. Let's see what they can do. I don't know. They have some tight ends that are still on the board that they can get. We'll see if they draft a tight end. They were preaching that they were going to draft a tight end, but I have a feeling they're going to pick one up in undrafted rookie free agent from Rutgers. They like him. They brought him in for a top 30 visit or a 30 visit, so I don't think they're going to draft him. I like Isaiah Likely. Let's see if he gets in there. There's some linebackers. The kid from Penn State's still on the board. So let's get some quality players who may or should have been chosen in the 2nd round, but due to quarterbacks, receivers, and everything else pushing everything back, they weren't chosen. So let's get some gems here. Let's get a whole draft. Remember, I said this on the day before the day of the draft or the day before the draft. You need quality players from top to bottom. I don't want my 2 1st-round picks to be great and my second and thirds to be no contributors. Because look at Joe Judge, right? Cam Brown and Carter Coughlin aren't even playing anymore. T.J. Brunson, I don't even know why he has a roster spot if you're not going to use that guy. And those are just to name a few. That isn't talking about last year's guys like a Rodarius Williams who got injured and things of that nature, right? Gary Brightwell, who doesn't even play. Ellerson Smith, he doesn't even play. And Quincy Roche I would call him a draft pick, but he's developing. Now, these are some of the guys whose roster spots are on the line with these new draft picks. Doesn't matter if they're in the same space. If they want to keep, 7 corners and they want to sacrifice an outside linebacker, those are the guys they're going to look at and say, hey, listen, Ellison, you haven't done much for us. See you later. I doubt they're going to do it. He's a 4th-round pick. He's got some measurables. I'd like to see that guy in the system, but we'll get into that more. But the 4th round, they have 3 5th-round picks and a 6th-round pick. Enjoy the last day of the draft. We're only hours away to the start of the 4th round. Let's see what the Giants are going to do today. It should be fun. And after the NFL draft, tune in to Premium Takes. We're going to give it all draft, all coverage, throw in some NBA, throw in some WWE. We're going to have it all on Premium Takes. And then, May the 4th be with you as we have an NFL roundup, NFC East style, baby. Black and blue. We're giving it to you. This has been another edition of the Hurry Up. I hope you enjoyed. Giants, let's keep making this team better. Let's get some good players. I'm out.